Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time once again. It is March. What is today? Today is Sunday, March 3rd, and it is time once again to welcome you to another Sumo Boss show that's going to start in 1 week on Sunday, March 10th. And we'll break down what's happening in the world of sumo in this video, talk about the banzuke, the rank listing of all the wrestlers, where everybody is at, what we should expect from the Osaka basho. This basho takes place in the city of Osaka, not in Tokyo, where it happens 3 times a year. This is one of the ones that happens somewhere else. And of course, we'll talk about the contest for this channel and some other fun stuff that I've got going on. And let's just jump right into it. I feel like there's so much to talk about. But before we do that, are you guys watching Shogun? So, I mean, I live in Japan. Obviously, I'm interested in Japan. I'm not, since I'm 54, I'm not a youngster, and I'm not as into the manga and anime as many of you might be. Of course, I'm familiar with it, and I've watched my fair share and read some things. Maybe even you can see there's my Akira box set right there of the manga. That's a wonderful thing. I can show that off someday. But this is really what got me interested in Japan. I was 11 years old in 1980 when this miniseries came on American television. And it's amazing. Richard Chamberlain, Toshiro Mifune, Yoko Shimada, based on the James Clavell novel, which I've read. And now they are redoing it on FX/Hulu, which I have neither of those here in Japan, but luckily there's a partnership with Disney Plus here in Japan. And so I am able to watch it the same time as you guys get to watch it now. There'll be a new episode every Tuesday, where the first 2 are up. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. Um, some people I know like to wait and until all 10 are out and then binge it. I'm gonna watch every week. So far, it's really interesting. They're kind of hewing very close to the book, which I like. There's a lot of politics and stuff. There wasn't so much action in the first 2. But they've made some subtle changes that I like. The lead actor who plays Blackthorn, Richard Chamberlain, maybe not quite as charismatic, but he's good. No fault with some of the other acting choices so far. It's hard to tell. It's only 2 episodes in. I miss the music a little bit from this. It's just so iconic. And of course, this was all shot in Japan. They use the actual castles here and locations, and everything in the new one is shot in Canada. So, but the sets are amazing. You wouldn't know a lot of the time that the costumes are amazing. So, there is my shout out for March. Check out Shogun. Let me know if you're a fan of the original miniseries like I am. Uh, my dad went, he used to travel for his job, and he went to Tokyo one time in the late 70s when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And he came back, and as my gift, he brought me this remote controlled car, like a pretty cool looking, like Toyota Supra type looking car. And it was just so advanced compared to like what I could buy at a local shop in America at that time. I played with that car endlessly, and that and this coming out like a year later really made me interested in Japan. In the same way that you probably got interested in Japan because of Nintendo or Pokemon or anime or manga or whatever brought you into Japan, and wanting to find out more about it. Some of you, even sumo is the thing that got you interested in Japan, and that's amazing. Okay, so speaking of sumo, we got lots to share here. So let me stop chatting and share my screen. Up. Okay, off we go. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. We had graduation for my high school. Um, and if you follow me on Instagram, I do post some more just sort of this is Jason's life pictures. So if you're interested in that, I also have a second Twitter that's kind of my more like my music and movie interests and stuff, whereas my sumo Twitter is just all about sumo. So that happened. And then this coming up Saturday, the 9th, is my junior high graduation. We see off our 9th graders. Some stay and go to our high school because it's a combined school, and some decide, okay, now they're going to go off somewhere else. It really depends a little bit on what their life goals are. They're more specifically their university goals. If they want to go to a foreign university, it behooves them to stay in our program and, get immersion English uh, teaching in, science, math, history, English, art. They take all those classes in English and they get what's called an IB diploma. Um, but it is a private school, it costs money, yada, yada, yada. So there are things they and their parents have to consider. But yeah, so things are going well for me in general. I hope things are going well for you as well. All right, Osaka Grand Sumo Tournament, like I said, starts on Sunday the 10th, runs for 15 days until Sunday the 24th. So knowing that it's the end of my school year, I should be mostly available. The 20th, a Wednesday, right before, what's that, about day 11, is a national holiday in Japan. And the day before the 19th is the last day of school where the students come. After that, I just have like teacher stuff going on. So definitely, I think I should be able to be home at a reasonable hour most days. With the exception of maybe day 3, we have our final English club and we're going to bake brownies. The girls in the club want to bake brownies. So we're going to go up to the home ec room and follow an English recipe and stuff like that. That day I might either be late or miss out on matches. But other than that, I think I'll have solid coverage, full coverage on the 20th, full coverage on the weekends. No impediment I can see for the final 2 days. Not going to go to the basho like I did last year. Um, can you see that sumo puppy? No, sumo kitty. Sorry, sumo kitty. Um, but this year, there's a chance I will go to Tokyo, a rare Tokyo uh, live sumo in September. Because I'm starting to feel like this might be my last year in Japan or my last school year. I would still be here about this time in a year. I kind of do want to go to the Kokugikon one more time to see live sumo. And I'm thinking September is probably going to be the best month I can maybe do that. So we'll see how that works out. And I usually end up going to Fukuoka, right, for the November basho. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to Nagoya. I'd like to go to, if I stay another year, I'd like to go to Nagoya in 2025 in July because they're reopening, I mean, they're opening a brand new arena. I don't think it's going to be ready July of this year, but somebody correct me in the comments if you know otherwise. Okay, so the Edion Arena in Osaka, a fun place to go see sumo, because Osaka is such a great city, so much to do there, and the weather starts to get warmer. It's March. I don't know if you can see outside. It's very sunny today, but it's cold. It's probably only about 5 degrees C, which is, I don't know, what is that, about 40 degrees Fahrenheit or so. So, but the weather does start to get a little warmer and it's still comfortable inside the arena. And the sumo wrestlers, I think, enjoy getting out of Tokyo and going to Osaka. So it's usually quite an interesting basho. All right, so let's jump over. We'll jump over to Fred's chart. Where is that? Here it is. Let me make it a little bigger to just look at the banzuke and see what's going on. So we've got Terunofuji, of course, our Yokozuna. We expect him to be back. And he, of course, was the Yusho winner with a 13-2, came back after many absences. And Tachiai, which we'll get to in a minute, is saying that they don't think he'll wrestle the whole tournament. They think he'll show up on day 1, but as soon as he starts to lose, they think he'll pull out. Okay, that's their prediction. And you can go over there and I'll show you a little bit of what they're talking about and read their reasoning. I hope that's not the case. I hope he wrestles the whole tournament. We've obviously got Kirishima, who they predict will win the Yusho, as Ozeki Hoshoru, who they say will be runner-up. Takikeisho, of course, is Kadoban. So he had to pull out here, right? And so that means he has to get 8 wins or he will be demoted to Sekewake. And so we hope he can get at least his 8. And we've got our new Ozeki, Kotonowaka, brand new Ozeki, rarely perform wonderfully. I think 10 wins would be good. 11 would be even better. But more than that, I think would be asking for a little bit. There's just so much glad handing and parties you have to attend and thanking supporters and all that kind of stuff when you become a brand new Ozeki. They rarely have as much focus and time to train and get ready, especially for a basho that's out of their normal habitat, as it were. So, but we wish him the best. Daisho, of course, Sekewake, again, just trying to put some good numbers. He's got 9 wins here in November, 9 wins again in January. That's not really going to get you going on an Ozeki promotion kick. He really needs to get double-digit wins here, and we'll see. Wakamoto Haru comes back up to Sekewake, jumps way past Komusubi, all the way to Sekewake. Our two Komusubi are Abi and Nishikigi. Nishikigi, look at this. Look at all these white ones here. These are all losing records. So only Abi above him had a winning record. So he goes all the way from Maegashira 5 with an 8 and 7. Not even like Maegashira 5 with a 10 and 5 or something impressive. Just a regular Kachikoshi 8 and 7 record all the way to Komusubi. So that's a little insane. And good luck to him. I think he's been there before. I don't think it's his debut. We'll look at that in a minute at that rank, but crazy jump and up the banzuke. Ura falls down from Komusubi to M1. Asanoyama, a lot of you are big fans. This green star means he's won a Yusho. The number is how many. Like here's Matakayumi, he's won 3. Here's Tamawashi, he's won 2. So Asanoyama has won a Yusho, came back from injury, got Kachikoshi +1 to go basically 9 and 6. And boom, now he is up at M1. So this is his best chance to jump back into the Sanyaku. He's just got to put up a Kachikoshi at least, and he'll probably go up, depending on who's moving down, etc. Tommy Fuji goes down a little bit to M2. Meisei makes a big jump. A lot of these guys made big jumps. M9 to M2, huge jump. Oho, even bigger, I think. M11 to M3. I mean, just huge jumps. Takanosho jumps way up. Look at this. Ono Sato. Now he had an 11 and 4. That's a nice, impressive record. Got the Kanto show. Goes from M15 to M5. So a 10 rank jump. So he will definitely be fighting a lot of higher ranked people for the first time in this tournament. So that's good test for him. Tsurugisho goes way up. Gonoyama comes down. A 5 and 10 record, not very good. Kimbozan. Tamawashi just kind of hanging in there, right in the middle of the pack. Was M10, now M7. Onosho makes a decent leap up the board here from M14 to M8. Takayasu, of course, one of the biggest tumbles, only 2 wins at Komusubi, so it goes all the way down to M8 West. Hokuto Fuji also only 4 wins at M3, so a big tumble down to M9. And Shodai, another big tumble with only 4 wins. Ryuden, only 3 wins, so he goes way down. Look at that, to M13. Okay, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys making, not making their debut necessarily, but rejoining the top division, the Makuuchi division. Nishiki Fuji at M14, Kitanowaka M14, Roga M15, Dayamami M16, and the one man making his debut in the top division is Takeda Fuji. The M17 slot goes to him. So, the guy is going down to Juryo, Tomokaze, Takara Fuji, Bushozan, and Aoyama. So Takara Fuji ends that huge long streak he had of 900 plus matches in the top division without getting demoted down to Juryo. So now the longest record holder that is still in the top division is Tamawashi. And that's a shame for Takara Fuji, but he hasn't decided to retire or anything. He's just going to fight on in Juryo and hopefully jump back up into the top division fairly quickly. Okay, so there are your groupings. So we can kill that, I think. Yeah. All right. Okay, it's a little early, but since this popped up, why not talk about it? So here's the contest. So I got a lot of good feedback from you guys because I had that six-way tie at the top last time, and I felt a little bad that because we have the kind of ultimate prize from buysumotickets.com. So Jeff over here, where you should go if you're coming this year to Japan to get your tickets, he really will help you out to get you some good tickets. And Nagoya is on pre-sale, and of course there's other stuff happening, special events. There's a big April event that we can talk about coming up, put on by the Sumo Association in Tokyo to benefit the earthquake victims in the Noto Peninsula that happened at the beginning of January. So he has his, let's see if I can move it over here a little bit, his shop, and he's got some connections to get these original Teigata. So if you want a Terano Fuji, there you go. Actually signed by him by hand. His actual hand touched the thing. Got the Yokozuna stamps on it. Got all the official stuff. But you can choose one of these as your prize if you are the top winner, if that's something you desire. And the last two people that have won the November and the January who won this prize were very, very happy to get it. So Jeff and I are continuing that sponsorship, which is great. And I'll just jump back over here. And of course, Big Sumo Fan is my other longtime partner with helping me with prizes because sometimes it's difficult to mail something or somebody wants something that maybe costs a little bit over here. Like maybe you want one of these really cool towels that's $32 or $24. And sometimes I have this kind of stuff, but often I don't. My prizes tend to be in the $15 to $20 range. Like I have magnets and keychains and banzuke and sumo cards. I've given away calendars and things like that. But he has just endless pages. Robert over here at Big Sumo Fan of awesome stuff. He's got the traditional towels. 12 pages here, of just interesting stuff you can see. Illustrated banzuke is always something that people like, little drawings of the wrestlers and all their names and stats, and even the gyoji are here and there. And so yeah, it can look cool if you kind of frame it or something. Anyway, Big Sumo Fan, always helping me out. So the thing that I can do is, if you're in a hard place to mail to, or you want to pick your own item, I can mail you a gift card, and me and Robert work on that, and that way you can spend that money on anything you like in his extensive collection here of stuff. All right, so the contest. So what I decided to do, based on your feedback, is first of all, I expanded it from 5 categories that you have to pick a wrestler into 6. Okay, so that spreads it out a bit. I've got a Yokozuna Ozeki category here, and this is my behind the scenes view of the page. When you come to the page to enter, you'll see drop down menus. So you got your Terano Fuji and your 4 Ozeki, then you've got your 4 guys at Sekiwake Komusubi, and then I just divvied up the M Maegashira wrestlers into smaller groups. So you've got 8 guys from M1 to M4, 8 guys from M5 to M8, 8 guys from M9 to M12, excuse me, and 9 guys from M13 to M17. So hopefully by doing that, it makes it less likely for ties. And then I actually added a tiebreaker question, which will only be needed if there is a tie. And, like I said, like 3 people tie for first place and they all want the Teigata. Then what do you think the winning record will be in the Juryo division for the March Basho? Do you think the person will win with a 10-5 record, an 11-4, 12-3, go Zensho Yusho 15-0? You pick. You don't have to pick the wrestler. You just have to pick what do you think the winning record will be, and hopefully that will help decide an ultimate winner if we need it. So those are the few small changes I made, and the contest, of course, will go live tonight after I post the video. You have about 1 week to enter. I cut off new entries on day 2, which will be March 11th at 10 p.m. Japan time. So you have time to kind of, oh, it's sumo starting. Some of you are like, don't necessarily watch this video right away. And so you can find out, plus who's pulled out, who's not showing up, maybe who's injured, and you can make little changes if you need to, or I'll obviously mention it on day one and you can enter for the first time. Okay, and yeah, so that's the contest, and of course I have some bunches of stuff to give away still that I bought back in November. So plenty to come from me. I mailed out some fun prizes that uh, when I did that live unboxing, I gave away 2 prizes to 2 people randomly in the chat. So that was fun. If you're a channel member, there's 114 of you now. I pick 2 people at random at every basho and just send them some fun stuff. And people have been really happy with that. And we did the calendar thing. A nice fan named Mara in America sent her old calendar to one of the winners. I sent my old calendar to the other winner, and they were both in Europe, so it ended up working out okay. Um, and yeah, the only drawback, let me just say here, I got my notes here, is if you remember Blake K, you won, and I sent, I posted in the community tab, hey, Daniel and Blake, you're the winners. Daniel contacted me, but as a member, I don't have access to your email. So you have to contact me. So Blake, if you're watching this, you won back in January. Contact me because I'd like to send you a prize. And one other person from the the 6-way winners didn't never contacted me. So maybe check your email if you're watching this. Let me see, who was it? Was it Bert? No, it wasn't Biscuit, Brett. Oh, James Wonder. No, I'm not sure. Maybe it was Povalos. Ah. All right. Anyway, one person, didn't claim their prize, which is always kind of wild to me. If you're going to enter a contest, find out if you won, and then if you did, get your free stuff. So, yeah, if you're one of those people, contact me and we'll work something out. Okay, back to sharing. Let's get on with it here. All right, so that's the contest. Feel free to enter. The link will be down in the description. And like I said, you got a week and think about it. And you're probably going to want to go over here, Tachiai. Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's happened in the sumo world in between the end of the January Basho and now March 3rd. And I'm assuming if you're at all connected to what's happening, you've heard about most of this already. But for those of you who haven't, here we go. So there was a bit of a scandal, a bit, maybe that's too light a word, a scandal. Let's just call it a scandal in Hakuho stable. Okay. Um, one of their top wrestlers, Hokuseiho, the really tall guy, over 2 meters tall, the only guy he had in the top division, um, had to pull out in January. He cited an injury. People weren't quite sure what was going on, and it turns out it wasn't an injury. He was pulled out because of disciplinary reasons. He was bullying some other wrestlers in his stable. And this is very, very, here he is resigned in disgrace. So you can read the whole article there. And the ripple effect, the pushback. Well, one, Hokuseiho didn't just get punished, like you're suspended for a year or this, that, or the other. No, he was forced to retire. He is out of sumo. He cannot, you know, be involved in any way. He cannot be a coach or anything at age, whatever he is. I think he was 24 years old, or he is 24 years old. Sumo is done for him. And he is Mongolian, but I think he grew up most of his life in Japan. So I have no idea what his next steps are, but it's a sad ending. And but when you read about what he was doing, he obviously needs some guidance, some help, some rehabilitation because he was not being a good guy to some of his younger or less high-ranked stablemates, and physical abuse, mental abuse, etc. So this comes back to their coach, who is the former greatest yokozuna of all time, Hakuho, and now called Magaki Oyakata. And he, of course, let this happen under his watch, as it were, right? So he has been disciplined. He loses some pay. He's kind of like the elder ranking of people that are now retired. He's dropped a couple ranks, and they're going to not hire, but name this guy, uh, Tamagaki Oyakata, is going to kind of go in and now be sort of the new head coach for a little while. So he is going to oversee training. There's going to be no going out, no hanging out with supporters, no senshuraku party, no talking to the media, other than, when they get pulled in for like an NHK interview or something. So it's going to be very strict at the Heya for at least the next two basho probably, but they hope they can bounce back. It's not really fair to punish all the other wrestlers that are still there for what Hokuseiho did, but I think it is fair to punish Hakuho. Um, and we hope that it won't be the end of that stable or something like that, that it'll be fine. But now we'll look at the banzuke in a minute. Their top ranked wrestler is now Hakuoho down in Juryo, because as you know, Enho, sorry, is injured and way down the banzuke. Hokuseiho's gone now. So yeah, very interesting developments there. But when we get to the banzuke ranking, you'll see Hokuseiho, just because of pulling out of the tournament, was already going to get demoted down to Juryo, and that's where he'll be listed on the final banzuke. They didn't have time, I guess, to change it. So we know he won't show up. So he'll be Kyujo from day one, and they'll call it retirement. Okay, so here's just an interesting little take by Tachiai, how, you know, nobody really reports much about sumo in the foreign press unless something like this happens. And so here's like BBC News even picked up on it. Shindeshi exam, you can read about that. It's kind of interesting. The new guys make their debut, some of them in Osaka. So we get a lot of new wrestlers, 27 to be exact, but even smaller than the 34 we got last year. This is about that Kokugikon event for charity to help the earthquake recovery. It's going to be on April 16th. 6 is the Reiwa year, the year of the Emperor 6, the 4th month. And so that's fun. If you are coming to Japan in April, you can maybe go if you live here. It could be a fun time. I don't know why they chose a Tuesday, but there you go. So you can read more about that here. And I think one of the major persons uh, spearheading it is Kakeru, but I could be wrong. So here are the predictions that I was talking about. So who wrote this one? Let's see. Josh. Okay, so Josh is making his predictions here. And if you want to like look at this before you do your contest picks, he goes through every single wrestler in the top division. Here's my prediction. Okay, Terunofuji is going to pull out. Kyujo means withdraw with with an injury or something. 13 to Yusho. Yusho means championship, right? So Kirishima is his pick to win. Oshoru Jun Yusho means runner up. 12-3 record. Takikeisho thinks he'll just get his 8-7 to avoid, being demoted, but not looking for more than that. Kotonowaki thinks we'll get an 11-4 and on down. And he does every single wrestler, as you can see here. So that's kind of fun if you want to really dive in. Just excellent coverage at Tachiai. So my hat's off to them and the group they have over here. Here's them talking about who got promoted and all that kind of stuff. Hokuseiho will officially finish his career at J3, etc. And just lots of good news. So if you don't have this site in your bookmarks, touchy.org, you need to add it. Really good stuff. Scandal counter 10 days ago. Okay. Let's see. So let's go back over here. We'll go to the banzuke. So this we already kind of looked at on Fred's chart, but like I said, if we go to Jurio here, we can see Hokuseiho. Let's see how old he is. 2001, November. Somebody help me out. So that means he's 23, right? What is he? Yeah, 23, right? Why can I not do math? Anyway, there he is, 204 centimeters, huge guy. And that's it. That's where he'll finish, Jurio 3. And retire with a career record of 134 wins, 72 losses, and 44 absences, I guess, is the 44 number. But very even in his Makuuchi career, 41 wins and 40 losses. Anyway, so let's go back to the banzuke down in Jurio. So he'll be out from day one. Here's Takata Fuji, the longtime veteran, as I said. They put him at Jurio 1. Tomokaze is there at Jurio 3. Kageyaki. A lot of these names you'll know from them being in the top division. And then down here are two of the guys that you're probably very interested in. Wakataka Kage making his comeback up through the ranks to get back up to the top division now at Jurio 10. And Hakuoho, the lone like flight, top ranked wrestler from Hakuho stable left, is at Jurio 13 as he makes his way back from injury. So, and we'll talk about Kita Harima in a minute. Interesting stories about him down here at Jurio 14. So somebody from the third tier division will immediately be filling in to fill in the gap left by Hokuseiho until somebody drops out of the Jurio division, and then it can even out again. And anybody at the top here? Tenshoho is from Hakuho stable. So if he jumps up to, all he needs is they wrestle 7 times in the third tier division. So all he needs is 4 wins out of 7, and he'll make the leap up. So he'll have at least 2 guys in Jurio. And he's trying to rise up and make a name for himself. No other big names that I'm going to pull out, I think, down here. Okay. And so let's go to topics. So Takakeisho, of course, Kadoban has to get his 8. Kotonowaka making his debut. Daisho staying. Sekewake return. Wakamoto Haru. But all of these guys have been in the top division September last year, November last year. None of them, it's like been a long, long time. Making his debut is Takata Fuji. And very, very quickly, where is the record here? Taking only 9 tournaments since his professional sumo debut, means tying the record of the fastest promotion to the top division. So congratulations to him. He's a name to look out for. Making his return, Nishiki Fuji from November, Kitanowaka, Roga, all of these guys were there in November. Didn't get a winning record, went back down in January, fought, now are back up again. Dayamami, though, it's been a while, July of 2022. So he's making his return. Now, of course, Jurios, Wakataka Kage, Sushi Manada, and Hakuoho. And then here's Kita Harima. So it took him 21 tournaments from 2020 was the last time he was in Jurio, and he's 37 and a half years old. 37, 6 months. So he's up there close to like Tamawashi age. And he's the second oldest Rikishi to be re-promoted to Jurio. And he's also been up and down so many times. He's tied the record for the most promotions in the history since World War II. And this is Takeda Fuji's table, how quickly he went when he made his debut in September 22. Now, in March of 2024, he's making his Maegashira debut. There is what is this saying about it? He was only in Jurio 1 time because he entered at Jurio 10 and won the championship. And because of the way the ups and downs, the promotions and demotions, they promoted him all the way up to Makuuchi. So That's very rare that you're only in Jurio like one basho and then you automatically jump up to the top division. But here's Kitahanuma, 37, 6 months, 29 days, just ahead of Kitazakura from 71 here, 1971. So yeah, so he made his, oh, that's his date of birth. But I think down here they talk, yeah, he made his debut in 2012. And then you can see all the times he's been promoted. And now this final time. He has been in Makuuchi one time, I think. Let me double check that. He fights out of Yamahibiki stable. And born in 1986. And he's won a Sandamne division championship, but nothing else as far as that goes. Went 4-3 in the third tier division at MS2. That was recent, his Sandamne division championship. And his highest, yeah, he went to Maegashira 15. So he has been, and that was in 2016, guys. That was the last time he was in the top division. That was when I moved here to this current apartment that I've now lived in for 8 years. So there you go. And let's see, is anybody else in his stable? Yeah, he's the top ranked wrestler in his stable. Okay. All right. So speaking of stables, the one other bit of news here that I'm going to do before we kind of wrap things up is let's go to the banzuke. So Kirishima is in a stable called Michinoku. Michinoku is the Ozeki Kirishima, that he takes his name from, is retiring. And they're going to dissolve this stable. And so the wrestlers in it have to go somewhere else. It's one of the few times you switch stables in sumo. Normally, you're assigned to one or you're picked by one, recruited by one, and you stay there your whole career. But this one's going away. And so they only have one real top flight wrestler, and that's Kirishima Ozeki. And then they have these other guys, and some of them are going to go to various stables. But Kirishima has decided that he would like to go and be part of the stable run by former Yokozuna Kakeru. So this has been kind of making big news. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Okay, it's called Otawayama Beya. So here it is, Yokozuna Kakeru, and they only have two wrestlers. But boy, talk about getting a recruit. So they're going to pick up um, uh, Kirishima. It's going to happen, I think, after the May tournament. I think it's the March, and then the May tournament will be the final tournament. And then in July, he'll start wrestling under this stable's name, and this will be his head coach. And of course, Kirishima's Mongolian, Kakeru's Mongolian, and they've always kind of felt a kinship. And so that's been making some waves because it's kind of like a very high profile former, Yokozuna. Now, the Yokozuna to be, everybody thinks Kirishima probably will be the next Yokozuna, joining forces, as it were. So that was some big news off the banzuke, as it were. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, so just the last thing I'm going to talk about is how, sorry, just there's my sumo kitty cup in case you didn't see it before. A lot of people reach out to me here at the channel. Um, uh, Great back and forth with one of the prize winners named James, retired Navy guy in San Diego, and so nice. And he's been sending me emails, and he got his prize, and he won. I sent him a set of cards like in a little binder, and I sent him a towel, and because he wanted the Tegata, but he lost rock paper scissors. And he's like, yeah, when you come back to San Diego, let's go out for a beer, let's go out for lunch or something. And so many of you send me messages like that, and I'm so thankful. And a lot of people, hey, are you going to be in Osaka? Can we meet up and stuff? And I'm just not. I'm really busy at school, plus doing the channel this March. But people do, reach out and ask, questions. Please, feel free to send me an email at the email listed below, jasonsumo2023 at gmail.com. And one of the guys that reached out was Mike, who sent me this nice shirt. I think it's got like piping on the one. Yeah, it's got like some piping. There's a little Japanese flag. So I'll just show you his site. Really nice guy from Canada, and he has his own uh, kind of a very watch this video. It's in Japanese, but I think it has English subtitles, and he says an English version is coming soon. It's about 5 minutes, but it's really well made, and he's a personal fitness guy. So Summit Performance, personal training, and there's a little bit about what he does down here. And he's also the traveling therapist and martial arts. And so, some of you might be very interested in that. I wish he could come to where I live and help me get in better shape, but he's a busy guy, and he was in Japan recently, and he was in Okinawa, and he was in Tokyo, of course, and just not near me, so we couldn't hook up when he was traveling around. But thank you for the shirt, Mike, and it fits, yay! And good luck with your business dealings in Japan. So check that out. I'll put a link, of course, to this website down in the description. And then the other one that was a lot of fun was Hugo. Hugo has been a longtime supporter of the channel, and his interest in sumo has led him. Hugo, I should have asked you how you pronounce your last name. Uh, yeah, should I try? Tabalion? Tabalion? But Hugo is very interested in sumo, and he wrote a book, and it's the first in a series that he plans to do. This one just came out in February, and he started with probably what many people would consider the greatest sumo wrestler of all time, Chiyono Fuji, the Wolf, former Yokozuna, and he sent me an advance like copy of the book, so I was able to look through it, and I really enjoyed it. And here, this is my Amazon America, so I'm not a Kindle member, but I think it's $9.99 on Kindle, or if you want a physical copy, it's $15. And I'm sure, depending on where you are in the world, blah blah blah. It's not a huge book; it's 54 pages. Um, yeah. Uh, doesn't show the table of contents, but it's packed with a lot of interesting info. And I was surprised how many pictures and charts, and there's a glossary and all kinds of stuff in it. And I was going to put up a review, and then Sumo Spiffy kind of beat me to it. So Sumo Spiffy is a channel I follow. Subscribed. You should subscribe too. He makes a lot of fun videos, and he put up this really interesting book review. What's in the box? Where he's an English professor, so he's a teacher like I am, and he was just talking about how some people, you look at a self-published book and you go, oh, it must not be very good, it's self-published. But he said, no, and he explains why self-publishing is actually very legitimate, and he got a copy of the book, and he goes through it in much more detail than I've just done. 10-minute video, worth your time if you're interested. But show Hugo some love, if you are interested in Chiyono Fuji. I give it my thumbs up and my recommendation. So, and I look forward to when he does people I'm more familiar with, like his Asashoru book or his Hakuho. Of course, my all-time favorite Yokozuna, Haruma Fuji. I will definitely buy that one when he gets around to it. So, yeah, looking forward to more of that. And Sumo Spiffy, just lots of interesting videos that he has. So go show him some love too. He's only got about 2,500 subscribers, so could definitely use a few. Okay, anything else? I think that's about it. Got that, got that. Yes, yes, yes. Tachi, we talked about them. Okay. So I think that's about it for me, guys. So lots of links and everything down in the description. Thank you guys for your feedback on I guess this is the thing I'll end with about the playoff situation. Remember? So we had a playoff, and I was like, why aren't people clicking on the playoff? And so many of you told me that it's not because you don't understand English, it's because you're watching on a device like an Apple TV, a Roku, a handheld device, where you can't click a link, right? It's just not easy to do. So you watch the video, there's a playoff, but then you wait until it either just shows up publicly in my feed and then you watch it, or you're not watching on a laptop or a PC on your desktop or something. So clicking the link isn't easy. So that's why. So what I've decided to do based on a lot of your feedback is just every basho now, I'm going to have a bonus video. Okay, on day 15, I'm going to say whether there's a playoff or not, after the final video, I'm going to say Jason's, day 15 bonus video. And it's just always going to get posted for the next year, that I'm doing this channel. And uh, if there is no playoff, it'll just be me vamping for a few minutes. I'll let it run maybe like 7 minutes so you can't tell if it's a playoff or not. Because if I only did it for 2 or 3 minutes, you'd be like, oh, it's not a playoff, or something. Or like you would know from the just time signature. So I'll let it run for about 7 minutes. I'll talk about, the whole bus show, my feelings, show some stuff that's, on a Bema. And that'll be that. But if it is a playoff, it'll be there. It'll be in the public feed. I'll I'll let it just be called bonus video so you don't know. It doesn't spoil anything. And then I'll rename it 2 or 3 days later, Terunofuji versus Kotonowaka playoff. So it's easier to find in the future if you want to look for it, etc. So that's the plan. Just always going to have a bonus video on day 15. So you don't know if it's going to be a playoff or not. Now, obviously, sometimes there, the the boss show could be decided on Saturday, day 14 or something. And so the bonus video is not a playoff. And that's fine too. You don't have to watch it. But it'll just be me chatting, probably thanking a lot of you for watching, etc. And that's what I should do now. I really do need to go by PayPal and thank all the people that went by in January and February. Thank you so much for donating to the channel. It really did help because I sent out a lot of prizes. And so that always helps with the shipping and everything. And the members, the channel members, of course, I'll pick two of you at random for the March Bus Show. So if you want to join the channel, there's 3 levels you can join at. That's great. And I'll pick 2 of you to send you something fun from Japan. And just everybody for your kind comments, your thumbs up, your likes, your views. Channel's doing great. We're headed toward 15,000, which is a nice mark to get past. And I look forward to the Osaka Bus Show. Please come and watch with me. We will start, I think, Sunday the 10th is also the Oscars. Now, they don't really show those in Japan, and I haven't seen any of the movies that are nominated this year, except like 2 of them. I haven't even seen Oppenheimer yet. It's finally coming out here in Japan at the end of March. So that'll be something I get to do during my spring break. But as a history teacher, I got to go see that. But yeah, I haven't seen most of the movies nominated for the Oscars. But anyway, I'll be watching sumo on Sunday the 10th, and I'm sure a lot of you will be too with me. But enjoy if you're an Oscar person. And Dune 2, which is out now in America, I believe, comes out here on March 15th. So I will definitely go see that at the weekend, that weekend, but I won't, I won't let it interfere with the sumo. Comes first, right? So thanks again to Mike. Thanks to Hugo for the book. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'll see you guys in a week. Okay, enter the contest. Enjoy. Peace. See you later.